Heart of ice. Malkan is gazing meaningfully at the path to Zenith. The campfire was so cozy, I must have fallen asleep, Kupo. But do you feel how the winds have shifted? They will have borne Raceville back to the skies above Zenith. I am sure of it. This is your choice to climb the highest floor of the palace. Summon him with your toot on that shiny horn. I'll be heading back now, so if it's all the same to you. Good luck, Kupo. It's nice knowing you. Okay, let's go. To the safe right. And up we go. Mortals, why do you disturb my solitude? Thou speakest the name of the creature that but waiteth the release of oblivion. Leave me.
By the 12. Mine ears hear the tongue of dragons, yet the meaning rings clear within my mind. How can that be?
Raceville, do you not remember me? 'Twas I whom you found in Dravania. I who glimpsed the truth. The truth about your past. About Shiva.
Do not speak her name, mortal.
But speak it I must. I have summoned Shiva's soul from the beyond and offered myself as her vessel. She has made her heart known to me.
Foolish girl, thinkest thou my beloved spirit hath descended from the heavens? That the secrets of her heart are thine to know.
I have surrendered mine to her. Do you not see, my love? I am Shiva reborn.
Gullible fool, the light but illuminate the past for thee. It did not grant thee obscenence. The spirit thou hast summoned belonged not to Shiva, but a shade conjured by thy fine own fancy. In a age-long past, mine own kin were guilty of like folly, beguiled by the dark one's lies. They attempted to resurrect a king amongst worms, yet the divinity they called forth merely borrowed the semblance of the fallen brood brother. Such gods are not summoned but created, phantoms spun from the threads of misplaced faith.
Then the spirit that answered me
Was but thy dream of Shiva. His soul hath been corrupted by deity of thy fine own making, child.
Be that as it may, Lord Hraesvelgr, Izel's desire to heal the rift between man and dragon is real, and it has borne us this far. We would spare both our kind and yours the ravages of this senseless war. Pray join your voice to ours in a call for peace and forgiveness.
The tale of the kind is one of violence, treachery and death. Thou wouldst speak to me of peace? Heart thee, mortal, to the marked truth, then tell me thou deservest forgiveness. 1200 years ago, my beloved Shiva's sacrifice served to bring an end to the war twixt man and dragon, paving the way for the age of peace and cooperation. 2 centuries of harmony were to follow, during which time the Elsian learned much about us, not least that the eyes of the great worm are the wellspring of his strength. 'Twas out of the selfish desire for the strength of the king that King Fordin then conspired to undo our peoples had achieved together. With the aid of the Leolites, the most noble Elsin lured my sister into the ambush and took from her that which we craved. Fain would have I strike the image from my mind, and yet still seen doth linger, of my blue sister's tattered corpse, defied by the Elsin allies. They had torn out her eyes, and feasted upon them in the manner of wild beasts. Yet that was not all, for from their bloody banquet the fiends have gained strength beyond what doth a mortal man. Even now I labour to comprehend the immortality of their betrayal. Nithub was the first to learn of atrocity, and he took to the skies, hungry for vengeance. But though he slew Fordin and some few of his knights, their fellow butchers knew only too well where to aim their spears, and with now practiced savagery they set about my brood brother, sending him failing from the field. Such is the truth of the Holy See would keep hidden. Such was the beginning of the Dragonstone War. It is a song my kind shall ne'er forget. Nor should 10,000 years pass, the Ishgard crumble into dust.
Your tale bears scant resemblance to the one I was taught. How convenient that it should absolve your kind of all responsibility. But tell me, dragon, why should I believe your version of events?
What thou choosest to believe is immaterial. The betrayal that yet haunts mine very waking moment is no less the truth to my kind.
'Tis
And Nidhogg meaneth for Fortun's people to suffer for this sin to the end of days. That which thou imaginest a war of extinction is but a punishment, a siege of the spirits. Hast thou not seen those who tire from the torment, those who abandon their own and side with the dragonkind?
Ishgard's so-called heretics.
Know that all the traitors probably bear a trace of Rexford's essence, but a single sip of her blood is enough to awaken it.
Then, the seed lies within us.
This is the reason why those who abandon loyalties are rewarded with a drink, and thus are they transformed to join the ranks of Nidhogg's ever-growing army as newborn dragons. One by one, though death or defection, my brave brother shall amount to for all of the betrayer's children.
Ye gods, I have borne witness to such a transformation. Looked on as a heretic assumed the shape of a dragon. I imagined it some manner of Dravanian enchantment. But if any Ishgardian, regardless of allegiance, has such potential within them, 12 forgive us. To think of all the dragons we've slain!
There will always be some, of course, who choose to fight until the bitter end, like thee, dragon. But struggle hast thou might, thy youthful vigour will be spent ere thou reachest to 10, and Nidhogg shall remain a torment thine offspring.
Oft have I wondered why Nidhogg did not simply raze Ishgard to the ground. Now I have my answer. He has no intention of winning the Dragonsong War, for it is no war at all, but vengeance, an eternal requiem sung for his murdered sister.
Thou hast the right of it, Dragon Slayer. Comprehensest thou now the fruitful of thy quest?
I have not come this far only to admit defeat. We can still return the eye to Nidhogg and beg forgiveness for our ancestors' crimes. Mayhap our words will sway him.
Stubborn child, thou thinkest the mortal terms? Our perceptions of thine is too broad to grasp. This is a simple matter for thee to offer fine apologies. Thou didst not perpetrate the crime. Despite thy visions, the deeds of history seem distant to thee. For a worm such as Nidhogg, however, the history is yet part of his presence. Has flesh as the blood that did gush from Rex's wounds, that could he not be driven mad? 'Tis only by the claiming embrace of Shiva's soul that mine own fury have not consumed me. But thou let's speak no more of what is done. My very short time is spent, and I will be alone. Racer has a very bit of air-inspiring, as I imagined. His voice fairly dripped with power, and the will behind his words was so undeniable that it transcended the ignorance of all dragon's tongue. 'Tis but a pity that I misliked what he said. As far as we travelled, even to the very heavens themselves, only to be dismissed like unruly children, and far from the immigrantness humiliation, and hidden truths that we have learned serve only to prove that our grand mission of peace was destined to fail from the first. Nothing will deter Nidhogg from his course. The Worm's Lair. Alphinaud is considering your party's next course of action.
Well, what do you propose we do now? I, for one, am intent on continuing to the east.
What is there to be found in the east?
Nidhogg's lair, the Eyrie, is said to lie in that direction. And the eye tells me he is near.
You cannot still mean to slay him.
You cannot still mean to stop me. I have been true to my word, and aided you in this fool's errand with Hraesvelgr. But your efforts at parley have come to naught, Lady Iceheart. I would see Ishgard saved, and for that, Nidhogg must die.
With the tale of our ancestors' vile betrayal yet ringing in your ears, you speak of continuing this war?
Nay, lady. I would but pierce its vengeful heart. When Nidhogg dies, this war shall die with him.
A moment, Estinian. You yourself spoke of the Great Worm's strength, that you believed him powerful enough to raise your city to the ground. How then are we few to challenge him? Even behind the stout walls of Ishgard, with an army of knights manning the defenses, our victory would be hard won. Yet you propose to contend with the beast in his own lair.
In close combat, this will afford us an advantage. And with two Azure Dragoons working in unison, who can say what might be possible? But such speculation is meaningless if we cannot even find the worm. Our first task must be to seek out Nidhogg's lair.
The story of this nation grows bloodier by the moment. Must death always be answered with more of the same?
Such is the way of things, I fear. I shall consider it a miracle if mine armor is not stained crimson ere this conflict is ended.
That I should be blinded by my own lies. Everything I believed, everything I thought I was, gone. All gone.
Leave her. Your words will not reach her now. And we have not the time to wait for her to gather up the pieces of her shattered faith.
Okay, so we need to go and find the Eyrie now. I'm still on the search for the Eri.
Is that it?
Aye, that would be the Eri. I feel Nidhogg's presence through the eye, his caustic hatred gnawing at my soul. 'Twould seem the death of his consort has put him on guard. Mark how he wards his lair with tempestuous winds.
A similar barrier once barred our entrance to the primal Garuda's domain, until we discovered the means by which it could be penetrated. Mayhap it is time we called upon Master Garland. 'Twill be just like the good old days, no?
Oh, hello. New winds, old friends. Its name would have you enlist the aid of Sid Garland. A force of sufficient power to break through the Primal's defenses might conceivably grant us access to the Eri. And I can offer no better solution. Pray consult the engineer friend of yours. Very well, on the condition that you swear not to learn detail from his lair in our absence. And steal all the glory for myself, you mean? Nay, I will not be selfish as that. Contact me by link pearl when your preparations are complete, and we shall set forth from Ishgard together. I suggest we rendezvous back at the Saints when it's formed, but from what I gleaned about the Holy See's deciding ambitions to airship project, Sid will still be in Ishgard. Okay, let's go and find Sid. Well, we'll speak to Alfred first. When last you saw Master Garland, he was advising the Ishgardians on their ailing airship, correct? In that case, we might still be at Camp Cloudtop. Following that, he should be tried the airship landing, or mayhap even the skills fund factory. Let us not waste any time searching aimlessly. Someone's in the city is sure to know where we find him. The question is who. Sir Emmerich would seem the British choice, but there is no guarantee that he will be able to grant us an audience in short notice. Ah, I have it. Count Edmund, youngest son, prides himself on knowing all the Holy juiciest rumours. Let us return to the manor and see if Lord Emelin is about. Yep, you may. Ah, the hero returns. How goes the fight, old girl? Well, I trust, in search of Sid Garland, you say? Then, say no more. The taverns are full of talk, and the name of said that the silver-haired genius has cropped up more than often than most. I hear that he's tasked with getting more than one airship for the Holy See commissioned to actually fly. It would seem that the project has been plagued with mishaps from the first. In any case, Garland Ironworks employees are known to frequent the airship landing, and I wager that the master does too. The airship landing, yes, I thought as much. Come, Violet, we must find Sid and trouble him for his expert opinion. Where is the airship landing? Okay. Violet, Alfred, how fare you both? Not terribly well, judging by your faces. Greetings, Master Brown. I am sure that it will come as no surprise when I tell you we need a favour. Another wind barrier, and you say it is conjured by Needhog? The Enterprise could certainly take you where you need to go, but she would not be fare well against dragons. She is angle for the ship her size, but not that angle. Trevanians would fly rings around her, and if we took it into the heads to incinerate the rigging, there would be precious little we could do to avoid them. But there must be something we can do, some manner of weapon we could employ. Instead stands visual. the edge of chilling mist, but we do not know how much longer. Alright, I didn't say that was impossible. I said it was impossible for the Enterprise. We need a smaller boat. Briggs, Wedge, it's time we gave the new toy of ours a proper test field. It's probably the best that we let the lads show you. Come on, the planet's not far. Our little project's just inside. Oh, you're going to like this one.
Feast your eyes upon our latest and greatest feat of engineering. We call it a mana cutter.
After you put down Gaius, Wedge and me struck out on our own for a bit, and started work on the successor to the tiny Bronco.
Impressive little thing, isn't she? My talent for ship design has plainly rubbed off on them. They've adapted the principles of corrupted crystal technology and constructed a mechanism which converts ether from its surroundings into elemental wind. Said wind is then harnessed by the specially engineered sails, providing the craft with propulsion and lift. All in all, a most elegant solution. I'm actually a little upset that I didn't think of it myself.
The design does, however, come with one small flaw.
The energy conversion ratio is bloody awful. To generate enough power to get you off the ground, you need to be in an area awash with predominantly wind-aspected ether.
In other words, there are a few places you can fly, lots of places you can't.
The new Ishgardian airship hasn't left the boys much time for tinkering, meaning it may be a while before this particular project takes off. If you'll forgive the pun.
Tataru, what's happened?
I've been looking all over for you. There's been word from Aldar. It's about Her Grace, the Sultana.
It seems you're required elsewhere. Leave the mana cutter with us. We'll see that she's airworthy and suitably equipped to slice through those winds. You, meanwhile, should concentrate on providing Raoban and the Sultana whatever help they need.